Since October 2013, Central Valley Honor Flight has sent more than 2,000 veterans to the nation's capital, providing them an opportunity to visit the many monuments that celebrate their service. In the Valley, several of these flights are organized each year. In April of 2025, the 31st flight departed Fresno for Washington, D.C.
My name is Joe Lang, and I was part of the United States Air Force. I enlisted in 1960, and I was assigned to the 551st Strategic Missile Squadron, which was part of Strategic Air Command at Lincoln Air Force Base, Nebraska.
After hearing the experience of a friend and World War II veteran, Joe, who has lived in Fresno County for over 50 years, applied and was chosen to participate in April's flight. It's 5:30 Monday morning, April 28th. Veterans, guardians, and volunteers arrive at the Fresno Yosemite International Airport.
I was filled with excitement. I was filled with anticipation, and I was filled with joy.
Those emotions fill the room as the vets check in and have their pictures taken, while others are featured on the local news. After a brief opening ceremony, the vets make their way through the terminal and board the plane, ready for the 6-hour flight to Baltimore. As the plane taxis towards the runway, the vets are honored by local firefighters with a water cannon salute. At 9 p.m. Eastern Time, the group lands at Baltimore Washington International Airport. Here, the vets receive their bus assignments for the trip and are shuttled to American Legion Post 276 in Severn, Maryland, where each vet is greeted at the door with a kiss.
Here you have the Legion Post that opens its door, that opens its heart to us, and they were glad to welcome us as their brothers.
Dinner is provided by the post, and the vets have a moment to enjoy the meal and to get to know one another.
They had everything ready. The food was ready, everything was in place. They took the time to introduce themselves, and then we proceeded to just dine together, fellowship together, and chat together. And to me, they knocked it out of the park.
This will be one of the many opportunities for the vets of Flight 31 to be honored and for them to form a bond.
Because of how gracious they were, they received it just like, hey, you're part of us. Welcome home.
It's day 2. The group is up early. Their first stop of the day will be the Capitol building. The buses make their way through morning rush hour traffic with the help of an escort, compliments of U.S. Capitol Police. At the Capitol, the veterans are escorted directly into the House chamber, where they hear from their local congressman. Cameras are not allowed during this portion of the trip.
My goodness, how many people get to see that? I mean, that was one of the highlights, as far as I'm concerned, for me.
Once the remarks are finished, the group, which now includes U.S. Representatives Jim Costa, Tom McClintock, David Valadao, Adam Gray, and Vince Fong, move into the rotunda for their first group photo. With the moment captured, the group now begins their tour of several memorials, honoring the different branches of the military and significant moments in military history.
We are reflecting. We are thinking about who we are as a people. It's not just a granite that's out there that somebody carved, somebody put in a very important place. What's behind that, and what does it stand for?
First is the World War II Memorial, which honors the 16 million members of the armed forces that served in the Second World War. The monument consists of 24 bronze bas-relief panels, which flank the ceremonial entrance, while granite columns representing each U.S. state and territory at the time of World War II form a ring around an impressive pool. A wall of 4,048 gold stars reminds visitors of the over 400,000 who made the ultimate sacrifice. After taking time to reflect, everyone gathers to take a second group photo. This one, with the Washington Monument in front of them and the Lincoln Memorial behind, will be the most memorable of the trip. They then make their way to the U.S. Navy Memorial Plaza. This monument boasts the largest map in the world, known as the Granite Sea. It's also home to the iconic lone sailor statue, towering masts with signal flags, fountain pools, and 26 bronze sculptures depicting naval history. The Marines are the next to be honored as the group is shuttled to the United States Marine Corps War Memorial. Here, 32-foot-high figures raise a 60-foot bronze flagpole, depicting the famous World War II photo of the flag being raised on Iwo Jima. This is meant to highlight the nation's gratitude to every Marine and all who fought beside them. Next is probably the most meaningful stop for Joe. A short distance away from the Pentagon is the Air Force Memorial. Here, 3 stainless steel spires reach over 400 feet above sea level. Granite walls contain inscriptions describing the valor and values of aviation pioneers. This monument honors the service and heritage of the men and women of the United States Air Force.
There were not as many of us that were part of the Air Force, but nonetheless, it represented a very important segment of who we are together. Whether we are taking to the air, on the ground, or in the vast ocean, wherever we have been assigned and served, it brought us together.
The day's last stop is the National Museum of the U.S. Army. This facility provides the only comprehensive portrayal of Army history, seen through the eyes of the American soldier. Some of the highlights here include an M4 Sherman tank and a landing craft known as a Higgins boat, which was present for the landings on Normandy Beach.
So that even in looking at the monuments, it brought healing, it brought some peace, and it brought some assurance, and it certainly brought hope. And that's the very thing that we never want to lose.
The final day of Honor Flight 31 begins at one of the most hallowed places in the country, Arlington National Cemetery. Established on the 13th of May, 1864, the 639-acre grounds are the final resting place for more than 400,000 people. This includes astronauts, military figures from every background, and U.S. presidents.
When you think of all of these men who did what they did and who gave of their lives for the cause of freedom, there was God above that was clearly watching over them, helping them, sustaining them. I keep using the word hallowed, and rightly so.
After paying their respects, the group makes their way to the tomb of the unknown soldier to witness the changing of the guard.
These young guards have been assigned to do what they do in maintaining that vigil every single day, regardless of the weather, regardless of the time, doing what they do in guarding and giving honor to the unknowns. I'm reminded that there is no unknown to God.
Here they are given the honor of placing a wreath at the tomb. As the group departs the ceremony, they are met with a surprise.
These young people who were touring, they were getting ready to also see what we saw. And here they were on either side of us as our group made their way through. They were so kind with their remarks and how that they greeted our group as we made our way through there. To me, that the two having been where we were when we saw the guards, the changing of the guard there, and then meeting the young people, it lets me know that America is still good.
Next, the group heads back to the National Mall, where they visit the Korean War Memorial. It features 19 stainless steel statues representing a diverse squad on patrol, set in a rugged terrain to evoke the harsh conditions faced by American troops. On the south side, a black granite wall reflects the statues and features etched faces of unidentified U.S. service members, honoring all who took part in the forgotten war.
At a distance, it looks like mountains, but then as you approach and you look at the wall more closely, you see the faces of people. And these are people that were there sometime or other, serving there.
The next stop is the most visited memorial on the National Mall. Over 5 million people visit the Vietnam Memorial each year. This massive wall lists the names of the more than 58,000 servicemen and women who lost their lives during the Vietnam War. For the majority of men on this trip who served in Vietnam, the wall holds special significance. But even for those who didn't, nearly everyone knows a name on this wall. Many in the group take this time to search for the names of those they knew.
I was touched by the sacrifices that were made by the men and by the women that were there and are listed. And many of them gave their lives for the freedom of our nation. The Vietnam Memorial really touched my heartstring because of the sacrifices that were made by so many.
As the group leaves D.C., they make one final detour. Fort McHenry is best known for its role in the War of 1812, when it successfully defended Baltimore Harbor from the British Navy. This engagement, the fort's resilience, and the sights and sounds of the bombardment inspired Francis Scott Key to write what would later become our national anthem. As a treat, the vets are allowed to hold a replica of the flag that would have flown the morning following the bombardment.
It was such an honor to be at the fort and then to be able to hold that flag. That is, not the original is as a Smithsonian, but to be able to hold the flag and to hear about what happened.
It's a fitting conclusion to an emotional trip, one dedicated to honoring the service of these selfless men, of remembering those that gave all, and celebrating who we are as Americans. As they arrive back in Fresno, there's one last memory to be made. It's an honor that many of them didn't receive so many years ago. It's an honor that the residents of Fresno County don't take lightly. The men and their guardians line up one final time as the members of Flight 31. As they make their way through the doors of the Fresno airport, they're greeted by the cheers of hundreds. Some are family members and friends. Some are local leaders. Others are complete strangers, but they all have one thing in common: a deep sense of gratitude for each and every veteran of Honor Flight 31 and for the service they rendered to our country.
But it speaks about the appreciation that the Valley has, Central Valley has, for its veterans. We were just so honored to receive that welcome as a group. It was wonderful. I'll never forget that.
They are determined to make sure that these men know their service has not and will never be forgotten.